What's up, everybody? This video is about the Panigale steering head bearing. Pretty much any bike that I get that I rebuild, if it's been in an accident or even if it hasn't, I always change out the front steering head bearings. I upgrade them from the ball bearings that come on most bikes to needle bearings, which generally perform better, they last longer, and I feel like they have a better steering feel as well. So this most bearings, the design of the race is such that you can get behind the race and pull it out with a traditional bearing puller. And we're looking at the original ball bearing race inside the Panigale frame insert. So this is actually the frame of the bike, and this is an aluminum insert. And within the aluminum insert, that's where the bearing race sits. And most designs, the older Ducatis and pretty much any bike that I've worked on, the bearing race usually has a lip that you can get behind and pull the bearing race out with a bearing puller. Now the Panigale doesn't have this, and I know there's a couple threads online on the forums where people are asking how the hell do you get this bearing race out, because there's literally, if you look in here, this is the bearing race and this is where the race ends, and there's literally no lip. It's pretty much flush. I mean, even the bearing pullers that have a slight lip, it's way too thick to get in here. There's maybe a tiny, I can barely get my nail in between the bearing race and this step. And actually what protrudes out is the rest of the frame insert here. The bearing race ends and it's actually inside, embedded into this lip of the frame insert. So it's impossible. When you look at this, it's like, okay, how the hell am I going to get this thing out? Because to upgrade this to a needle bearing, you need to get a needle bearing race in here, which comes with the needle bearing kit. So I asked around, and I actually came up with an interesting option, which is to just weld, literally run a bead around this. It's stainless steel. So I just used a MIG steel wire, and theoretically this will try to expand and it won't, and then when the weld cools it will contract. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a try, and worst case, what I thought is if that doesn't work, at least what I can do is I can build up enough metal material on inside this race such that I can come through with a chisel and hammer it out if it hasn't shrunk. And so I just wanted to report that it worked like really well. I went ahead and took out the lower bearing. Now, this wasn't intended to be pretty, and I was welding upside down because I didn't take the frame off the bike. But I literally just try to throw on some the best bead that I could. I'm not even using the right inert gas for this. I've got the wrong mix for stainless steel. But anyway, I threw these beads on, got it nice and hot, and let it cool a bit. And then when I went to touch it with my finger, it was already kind of loose. I felt that it was already loosening up. And then all I needed to do, so this is on the imagine this is on the other side of the bike, of the frame. I just used one of these breaker. I don't even know. This is a chisel, I guess, is a name for this thing. I don't really know what it is, but basically just stuck this through the frame, got it in there, and I was able to get the tip of this on the edge of a weld, and with a light tap of the hammer it just came out. So I'm really happy. I know a lot of guys and gals are struggling on like, how the hell do I get this thing out, looking for the right tool, and nobody can find the right tool. And this worked out really well. And this bike has been I believe in a very small front end accident, but you can see that there's like wear marks on these and they just look toast. So the bottom one had some weird kind of wear marks on it as well. So yeah, so I'm pretty happy that I got these out, and now I can get my all balls needle bearing kit installed, and spent a lot less time on it than I was expecting. Literally took me 30 seconds to run this shitty bead and weld bead, and then took me another 5 seconds just to tap it out. Probably the easiest bearing race extraction that I've ever done. I might actually use this trick for normal extractions, because it's so much easier than just having to pull it out. But anyway, thought this might help anyone that's thinking about how to do this on a Panigale. Very quick, very easy. And yeah, the hotter that you can get it, the better. Obviously, I have got a strap on this and I didn't want to melt stuff, so I didn't go too crazy, but I ran it on a pretty hot setting and yep, came right out. All right, thanks for watching. Send me any comments or questions.